And what up, everybody? Welcome back to Pro Publications YouTube channel. The channel talk about zines and DIY publishing. And I read a comic book every day and got into my image section of my comics, reread the Maxx issue 1, first printing, which is not hard to find. And man, it was such a good, refreshing read that I really delved into this pretty deep. Just to begin with, Sam Keith is one of my favorite artists. Was probably the first or one of the first artists that I knew by name. And that was because of the Marvel Presents, his Doctor Strange, his Ghost Rider, his Wolverines, all those covers. I loved them and I collected all of them based upon the art. Now that I'm a grown man rereading the Maxx, there's a lot that I like about it. There's some stuff that I didn't realize how deep it got. So to begin with, I thought that all of this was done by Sam Keith. I didn't realize that Bill Messner-Loebs was the one writing the dialogue. That's interesting because Bill Messner-Loebs is like very well-known cartoonist, been in the game for a long time, has done so much work. Like he's worked on EC Comics, Dynamite, EC Comics being Eclipse Comics, Dynamite, Fantagraphics. He's done work for Omni, Image, DC. Like he's been in the game for years. 72 years old, still in the game as far as I know. And that was interesting to me. I never realized that he had a counterpart that was working with them. Now, there was 35 issues in the original The Maxx run. Of those 35 issues, Messner-Loebs was in 19 of them.
19 is approximately 54.29% of 35.
So he was part of the Maxx for like half of the run. So some of the stuff artistically that really catches my eye is these panel layouts. And on this reading, I was trying to figure out if they meant something or if they were supposed to be like cut out puzzle pieces. But in the end, I don't think so. And I really think it's just supposed to be this idea of like keeping the page fun. All this stuff, it pulls your eyes into it. Right, all these panel layouts, the way they're done is just strange. It doesn't make sense. And maybe that's the point, because in the beginning issue you realize like this character might not be all there. And then the only time the borders really make sense is when he's back home in this like mythical Australian land. Which that was the thing that I found the most interesting, right? No, the real Australia, the smoking caves, the gods who eat mountains, the flying dragons, the rivers of gold, the leopard queen. And so I had to look that up because I'm not very familiar with like Aboriginal Australian folklore. And man, was that a can of worms. That the Maxx character is supposed to be Bunny Ip. But yeah, there's a leopard queen and there's other gods and dimensions spoken of in the Australian folklore that I never knew about until this rereading of the Maxx. But going back to the art thing, I love these panels, man. These two panels right here, I don't know how he does it, but he communicates so much, so well. You see this little guy going after the coin, which just the coin rattling was just interesting. But right here in the back, you can see the carnage that the young lady is going through. And that's just really dark and really good cartooning. This is 24 panels on a page. And if you look at them in sequence, it's an amazing chase scene. And I love this page. And the story is a lot stronger than I thought it was. Like I said, reading it now as a grown man and hearing all these undertones about rape, about power dynamics, about mental health issues. It's all littered throughout here. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of these ips, these ises as he calls them, is trauma. And it's him fighting back trauma and everyone having their own trauma coming for them. You know, Sam Keith did a really good job with this, as well as Messner-Loebs. Like, this character being kind of a blamer, right? Blaming the women for putting themselves in bad situations, yet she feels empowered enough to do this. People judging her for what she's doing. Women not being safe anywhere, not being safe even with the fella that she went with. Like, you can see this here. And if we're going steady, then that means, right, because he was trying to pressure the young lady into having an intimate relationship with him, and he's kind of like coming up with a plan to like push her into that, but comes back only to find that she's been, you know, brutalized by a rapist. So there's this whole like subtext to this about like power dynamics, when it comes to women versus men, and trauma, and it's just a lot deeper and darker than I remember, man, on this reading. That's my thoughts on rereading the Maxx issue 1. If you haven't peeped this out, man, you're late to the game, but go ahead and get one ASAP. And don't forget that your boy publishes his own comic books, comic book zine anthology called Feral Comics, filled with underground cartoonists from around the world, filled with humor comics, things that you might want to read and peep out. All right, link will be in the show notes for these comics that I make. Thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Lights.